Are you ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Uncle.
I can't hear you.
Aye, aye, Uncle.
Oh, who shows on the internet for you to see?
Uncle Ed Show.
Entertaining and thoughtful and funny is he.
Uncle Ed Show.
If problem solving be something you wish,
Uncle Ed Show.
then hop on YouTube and watch all you wish.
Uncle Ed Show.
Uncle Ed Show, Uncle Ed Show, Uncle Ed Show, Uncle Ed's Variety Show. Oh, ha ha ha, ho ho, ha ha.
Greetings, folks. Thanks for tuning in to another installment of Uncle Ed's Variety Show. I want to go ahead and jump right into it and talk about the sign-off I did on episode 1. People are curious of what I mean exactly by selfless selfishness. And it's very simple. It's the same philosophy that I actually share with Bill Clinton. And what it is you cannot be selfish without being selfless. And that, simply put, is if your neighbors are in need, they're going to try to take what you have. So if you want to be selfish and make sure you get to keep what you have, you're going to have to be selfless and make sure that your neighbors are not in need. So, selfless selfishness. Get involved. Thanks for tuning in to the Uncle Ed Variety Show. My guest tonight is a Southern California native, born right here in the city of Hemet in 1991, the same year I had my critical motorcycle accident, nearly losing my left leg. Christian Terrell.
Thank you for having me on.
Today what I wanted to do is talk to you about your experience with the vegetarian diet and what you know about the vegetarian diet, because you talk about it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what this interview is all about, is exactly what you think.
My vegetarian experience began when I was about 16 years old, and it's kind of a dorky story now. I don't really...
Yeah.
Basically what happened was we had a little outside pond in our backyard, and a great blue heron came and ate all my pet fish. Now, I was heartbroken, but, I figured that was just the cycle of life. It needs to survive. Now, my whole family wanted to kill the great blue heron so it wouldn't keep coming back and fishing out our fish, because that's what they do once they find a pond.
Right.
They will just keep coming until it's all gone. They just hunt it to death.
Right.
And I thought, well, no, it needs to live. It needs to survive. It needs to do that. That's how it survives, is it kills. But what about humans? I got to thinking about it. Cows are much smarter animals, If you go to a dairy farm, you see they'll, climb on hills and try to play around. They have feelings like us. And so my initial venture into vegetarianism was really based on an animal rights perspective. And then once I was vegetarian, I started looking up some of the cruel things that happen in the meat industry, and that was just not jiving with me.
So when you became a vegetarian, it wasn't because you worried about what meat was doing to you, but what we were doing to get meat.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, nowadays, though, I really do care much more about the health benefits that come along with the vegetarian diet. There's a lot of concern. People are afraid that you can't get all of your nutrients from it. And there's a lot of people that'll tell you that your lifespan will be cut down. I remember people told me, I used to have a ponytail. People would tell me all my hair was going to fall out. I was going to get sickly and lose weight and die.
Becoming a vegetarian.
Okay. Everyone told me that, and honestly, at first I believed it. I was more concerned about the fish.
And go ahead and tell me about the specific health benefits that you experienced on a vegetarian diet.
Well, I was vegetarian for 3 years. Now, everyone told me I was going to get sick and die, but I started doing the research, and before long, I was showing my mom, look, this is the protein content of what I ate for breakfast, this is what I ate for lunch, this is what I ate for dinner. If my math is right, I'm getting more of my nutrients than you are, Mom.
Yeah.
Bam.
Okay. And then did you feel any negative or positive health attributes? Did your physicality change at all?
My physicality did not change at all. My acne kind of went away a little bit. It was still there. I was a teenager. I still had acne.
Okay. Well,
but it did improve a little bit. And most vegetarians will say that their skin quality improves because fruits and vegetables have a lot more antioxidants.
That's absolutely interesting.
That was always what I thought funny was when I was vegetarian was you'd see people come up to me and they'd be just completely out of shape, not taking care of their body at all, and they'd say, well, where do you get your protein? And that's the big concern. Everyone worries about protein, and it is an issue. I think a lot of vegetarians sometimes what they'll do is they'll be like, I'm vegetarian. I'm going to eat French fries for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And you can't do that. You do have to pay attention a little bit. Meat is kind of wonderful in the sense that it's a all-in-one
Nutrition.
food. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Of course, humans are a bit different. We have the means to come up with foods that can still taste good and be made off a vegetable diet. And I think, and we've seen, even just in the few years that I've been alive and shopping on my own, you've seen that vegetarians are starting to have greater and greater choices in the supermarket. As more people are more conscious about that and more people try that diet out, they're having more choices, and that's good. But especially when vegetarians, on average, live much longer than meat eaters, it's really not about survival for us anymore.
Okay, and now when you say vegetarian, that's a pretty big term, so there's a lot of different vegetarians out there. Why don't you go ahead and just give me a more of an understanding about that?
Basically put, a vegetarian does not eat living animals. Some will say that they eat chickens, and a lot of other vegetarians will say you're not a vegetarian if you eat chicken. Then you have different kinds of vegetarians. You have lacto-vegetarian. They'll eat milk, but they won't eat eggs for whatever reason. And when I was a lacto-vegetarian, that was because I didn't like the conditions that the egg hens were kept in.
Right. Okay, but you still had milk products.
Mm-hmm. And you have ovo-vegetarians when they don't want to drink milk from a cow, whatever. And then you have vegans, and they don't eat any animal products. It's all plant-based.
Okay.
So a lot of vegans won't eat honey too.
Really?
Really. Concern about the bees and the dwindling bee population.
Well, that is absolutely interesting. I'm fascinated by the whole fact that you put up with it that way and that you've taken that kind of an approach. It's rare to see somebody to commit to an idea like that based on their own beliefs rather than social pressure.
These crippling diseases, heart disease, when it's bad, you can't even walk when your heart's sick, and heart disease.
That's
all
right.
These diseases that kill you off earlier, you're not getting them. So you're not only living longer, you're living healthier too. So the real quality of life issue is, what are you willing to give up in terms of tasty food?
Yeah.
And really, you don't even have to go full vegetarian to find all of these health benefits. Even just cutting down on the meats and increasing your fruits and vegetables, because those are good for you.
No, don't start preaching that you mean an actual balanced diet would work. You mean if I just ate a little bit of everything, I'd probably be okay?
Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it? Well, there you have it from the source. All right, folks. Let's go ahead and get into real quick before we run out of time here. How easy you found it to accommodate your diet?
When you're really dedicated to a diet, you can just pull it off. And I found the best way to do it is say, I dare you to go vegetarian for a week. If you can make it through that first week, from then on it's much easier. You've already gotten through the hard part of getting accustomed to it.
Right. So there you have it, folks. First-hand experience of what a vegetarian diet can do for you. If you want to live longer, balance your diet. Your doctor's been saying it for years. And by the way, put down the cigarettes and alcohol and you'll probably live longer too. So that's Uncle Ed bringing you a health tip from our local resident in Hammond, California, Christian Terrell. Alright, we're here at Massacre Canyon, one of our favorite stops, a designation right here that's at the edge of San Jacinto. As you can see the canyon behind me, it has a few different legends, and we're going to figure out which one we think is the truth. Alright, this is a little spot up here in the canyon known as the Hole. It's a hole in the wall here that was believed to be used for burning trash. And we're going to give you a quick shot of what it looks like inside the hole. As you can see, it's pretty graffitied up in here, and we got a wonderful echo! And that's just because we're in the hole. And you can see that all the walls are scorched all the way around, which leads me to believe that this is in fact used for burning trash. There's an old mining camp up here, and that's what I think this was used for. I'm going to show you out of the hall. This is a little spot that we call the ovens, and you can see here behind me it's a man-made formation that was put here that we assume for cooking or something. I'm not sure, so we don't really know. And here we are, we're at the first set of falls. There's actually, from what I understand, 3 different sets, and I'm right under the boulder. So this is as far as we're going to take you in the canyon, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you some advice. If you come out here, don't come out here alone. Make sure you bring a hiking buddy, bring plenty of water, always wear a belt, and watch out for snakes and other stinging insects. There are several different high paths, and these waterfalls are very steep, and several people have fallen to their deaths in this canyon. Now, that's not why they call it Massacre Canyon. From what I'm to understand, there's actually 2 different stories for the Massacre Canyon name. The first story is that the Saboba Indians went and attacked the Pechanga Indians for their horses, and then the Pechanga Indians pursued the Saboba Indians to this canyon, where they ran them into the canyon and massacred everybody that couldn't climb their way out. The second story is that the Pechanga Indians came over here and ran the Saboba Indians into this canyon and did the same thing, massacred whoever couldn't hike their way out for just domination of the resources in the valley. So that's what we found are the reasons they call it Massacre Canyon, and we actually challenge anybody that if they have historical facts to why it is actually called Massacre Canyon to please leave comments on this video and get in touch with the Uncle Ed Variety Show, and we might interview you about the subject. So thanks for watching the Uncle Ed Variety Show. This is the conclusion of the Tour de Hemet Valley for this episode. Hello everybody, this is a new segment I'd like to call Rumor Busters, and simply put, I'm about to bust a rumor for you. A few years back, I actually boycotted Starbucks coffee because of a rumor that I read on the internet. Now, I had read a letter on the internet from an officer requesting coffee from Starbucks that said that they were being denied. It turns out that it's totally false. Starbucks is a huge contributor to our military. And in fact, on Veterans Day, they gave every single veteran and officer serving a free coffee. So, the rumor that busted, Starbucks, not patriots? Wrong! Starbucks, very patriotic. So this is the second installment of the Uncle Ed Variety Show, and I thank you for all of your patronage. Keep in mind that the reason this show takes so long to produce is that I'm producing it on my own. If you're interested in becoming part of the show, sponsor, or just getting involved, please contact us at uncleedshow@gmail.com. That's uncleedsshow@gmail.com. And we'll get you involved in the show, whether you'd like to be a part of the production, be interviewed on the show, or if you just have an interesting story that you'd like me to research, go ahead and contact us at uncleedshow@gmail.com.
How'd you like to be a little friend of mine? I'd kill Bob Morton because he made a mistake. Now, it's time to erase that mistake.